Dude, nothing nothing has come up right yet, dude. Hang on,
Awesome.
I got to pin it. Everything. It's like it wouldn't open. I'm like, where is everything? Hang on, let me
Well,
go.
we're back to our old ways. We're 17 minutes late due to me.
Yeah, yeah. So let's entertain everybody with your banter right now. Anybody know how to light an electric water heater or it's gas, right? You have a gas one, right?
Yes, dude. I wish it was electric at this point.
So we're late because Justin's water heater went out. Go ahead and indulge everybody while I kind of get this all settled in.
I'm just gonna get a kick out of this, right? Because he listens to this show. But so, anyways, if you hadn't followed the past shows, we're getting a pool built and whatnot. And I guess the dudes were over there kind of forming the slab where our equipment's gonna go and kind of where they're gonna make the tie in on our gas line for the pool heater. And I come home from baseball practice and my wife's getting the boys their bath, right? And I'm in there fixing their food and I hear her saying something about the water, right? And then she comes to me and is like, hey, turn the water on, see if it's getting hot. And of course it's not. And so I'm like, great, I got a show in 30 minutes and no hot water. And my wife, she's not a very big fan of cold baths or showers.
Who is? Cold showers are for psychotics.
I like cold showers. That's just me.
It explains a lot.
But, yeah. But anyway, so here I go, right? I call Sonny and he's like, man, he's like, I don't know. He's all, my guys were over there. So I go out there and I look. Of course, the pilot or the gas line was blocked. And I'm like, all right, cool. I lined it back up. No big deal. Come inside and I'm looking at this water heater, right? I'm like, shit. Reading the stuff and I'm hitting the pilot. And I got the igniter and I'm like, shit ain't working. So then I Google or I YouTube a video, right? I'm like, it's the easiest way to get shit done. So I'm watching this YouTube video. It tells you wait 10 minutes, hit the pilot, hit the igniter for 90 seconds. Somewhere in there, it's going to click on. Do it the first time, nothing. So here I'm talking to Jacob. Hey, I'll be on in a second. I'm trying to do this thing. I log in. I'm waiting. Here comes 10 minutes. Go back in there. Nothing. So now I'm sitting here thinking I got a water heater that's out or a pilot issue. I'm not a freaking plumber and we got no hot water and we're 17 minutes late to the show. So happy Wednesday.
Oh, happy Wednesday. Happy day after Halloween too. So it was Halloween yesterday.
Yeah.
Right. Are you still you have young kids, so you went out trick-or-treating and stuff yesterday. Raina's still in that trick-or-treating range. So we went out last night. Dude. So as y'all know, the last couple of weeks, I started the new job. And I got these shoes that are very there you go. Look, somebody's chiming in right there, dude. Should have a pilot on the bottom of the water heater.
It is. It's just whatever reason it doesn't want to ignite.
Joseph, go swing by his house, dude. Take care of our boy. All right. We'll give you a shout out. I'll get you on film or something. So yeah, dude, I got these new shoes. I call them the Air Chenier ones, right? And dude, they are so comfortable. Like I will not take these off, dude. I'll get home. Usually when I wear my boots, I kick them off in the garage and that's it, right? I'm in socks and I go change or shower or whatever. Dude. So 2 days ago, I'm running errands in these things, dude. I'm just cruising around, dude, in my jeans and my shirt and my work shoes and just cruising around, dude. Yesterday, trick-or-treating, same thing, dude. Wearing those things. I didn't even take them off. I can wear those things for hours, dude. They're so comfortable.
Dude, I'm telling you. So I had the high top versions of them last year, the all black ones.
Uh-huh.
And what's cool about those ones, right? So they come up to your ankle. They got that sock liner really on them. I think yours do too, but it's a little more low profile, right? Just you slide your foot in, twist it down with a boa. And I was telling everyone last year, and Jake knows me, like I used to wear boots all the time, and then like a couple years back I started doing lace ups, and then like 2 years ago I went back to tennis shoes because the very first turnaround I did, I bought these Red Wing lace up shoes. Well, last year here I go again. I'm like, these just came out last year at Red Wing. And at the time, the Chenier Force ones worn out, but the black ones wore the 3/4 top. And dude, talk about comfort. It's like walking on a cloud. They're super easy to get on and off. And I was telling everyone, these shoes kick ass, man. People are like, oh, those are kind of dorky or old man. I'm like, I don't give a shit about what I look like at work. I want comfort, dude. I used to care. When I was a younger operator, I cared, right? One of the Costa's on, one of the
dude. I'm wearing these around town, dude.
I'm telling you, I actually saw a dude last year in Walmart on his day. He just wearing shorts and a t-shirt and those, dude. Not those with the high top version. I'm telling you, dude, they're badass. Those are innovative.
dude, and like look at them from the top, like without looking at the side, Holly right here, all this stuff right here. Like
Not
I'm like,
bad.
these look like real tennis shoes, dude. I'm like, they are so comfortable, so
They're not bad,
comfortable.
dude. I'm telling you, if you work in the industry, get them. They're
Yeah,
legit. On the
if you can get
concrete,
away, if you can get away with a no heel at your job, if you're working a warehouse job, you work anything, you're always on your feet. You need to get yourself some of these. And we're not even sponsored by Red Wing, and I'm praising these shoes.
well, technically we're supposed to have a hill, but they've kind of let that slide at work. And I've
No,
been breaking
you're
that
not
rule for a while.
supposed to. It was in procedure. You didn't it didn't They took it out. You don't have to have a heel.
Oh, good. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
so
they're
it's been like
awesome.
that
If
for a while.
you want the higher top ones, the black ones I got, just as good. But nah, seriously, dude, those legit, dude. We should get a sponsorship for those. We've been rocking. I've been rocking those for a while. I'm glad you got them. They're freaking awesome.
I'm also trying to grow a beard. I don't know if you guys can see this. I've got like a taquacha beard going on right now.
It
Dude,
looks like weird.
I'm all
Oh,
invested in this whole beard club thing. So I got the derma roller and stuff. I'm rolling my face to try because I don't grow hair here or here, right? It's really weird. There's probably 17-year-old kids who grow more facial hair than I do. I'm 47. It's kind of embarrassing. But so I got that. I've got this spray that I'm putting on my face. It's probably just like water, right? Because it doesn't smell like anything. It's probably just water. And we'll see how this turns out. We'll see. The wife's not a big fan so far.
I'm gonna tell you right now, dude. During COVID, allegedly, when the beards were going, I had this thing like beard butter, dude. I had this freaking Dukes Tequache oil to throw on there. I'm telling you, once you get in that level, dude, start hitting him with that beard butter and the oil, you'll feel good, dude.
We'll see, dude. I may have to trim it because that derma roller is not really it's not working because it's not going through my hairs. So I might have to try to go back to stubble and then just kind of like plow the fields all over again. You know what I mean? And start fresh. What else has happened? Oh, there was an interesting post today on our buddies page, South Texas Bloodsport, about we're very close to 10,000 followers, and man, it's blown up quite. The page has blown up quite a bit the last couple weeks because, dude, like these random videos that we're taking of just like random games, they're not even huge games
Yeah.
that these videos are going on. We've got one that's almost got 1 million views. We got another one that's over 500,000 views, like huge, right? And so, people are sharing it's going here, it's going there, and we're gaining followers that way, right? So the last couple of weeks, I'd probably say we gained about 2,000 followers,
Oh
right?
wow.
So that put us pretty close to 10,000, and 10,000 is like the magic number. I think we talked about it on the last show, to where we can start getting small checks from Facebook, right? For
Well,
views.
Stugots and them, right? They shared our video we shared of Robbie, right? I
Yeah,
think that was
yeah,
probably
yeah.
part of the craze, right? They got the views up a little bit to help us out.
Yeah. And so yeah, he posted a post today to try to help us out to try to get us those additional 400 and some odd followers. But no, just to clarify, we did not work at a VHS packing facility, packaging alleged VHS tapes of videos gone by the wayside. No, that's not what we do. He said it in fun. It was pretty funny. I laughed. I laughed a lot.
Oh, I died laughing at
And
work.
but yeah, man, tell your friends, get us some more followers. Let's see what we do. We will not put up a paywall. The shows will still stay the same, but we'll just get a little moolah from our content from Zuck and friends, right?
I
The other
wonder
thing,
how much you get. Like,
oh, I don't know.
I wonder if
Who
it's like
knows, dude?
if it's even like worthy, or I wonder how that works.
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. We'll find out, right, eventually.
Well,
The other thing, so Tidehaven are still making noise. So they've allowed 14 points this whole season. They've scored 351. Their head coach is he's a character, dude. So the closest game they've had this season was like a 15-7 win over over East Bernard like 3 weeks ago or so, right? So after that game, Crossroads Today, which is the news station up in Victoria, um, had a video of him, a post game video, and this is Coach David Lucio there from Tidehaven. Can you hear that?
yeah.
Did you catch what he said?
No.
He said the only thing other than that win is me. Right? So that's what he said, right? So yesterday, like we said, was Halloween, and not to disappoint, he dressed up as he said as a local rapper. And at first he kind of looked like
Palacios, Texas.
Chingo Bling in his old days.
Oh
But
wow.
who who is that? If you guys can tell me who that is, there's a hat in it for you. I'm not gonna say who he's dressing up as. Uh, but if you guys comment or whatever during the show, we'll send a free hat your way. But I thought it
It's
was it
working.
was it was pretty funny. Um, but yeah, so what'd you say?
I was asking if the comments were working. The last one I had was
Yeah,
Joseph.
so Joseph was the last one. I don't know if anybody's commented or somebody chime in, say, hey, it's working. And just to make sure that we got it going. We got
I know where you at.
21 eyeballs in here. Dude, Lavelle's kind of been slipping on the show
He's,
lately. He's
he's
not
too invested with Dion, dude.
not coming in. Oh yeah.
Too invested with coaching Dion.
There it is. Thanks, Chris. Chris just chimed in. Chris Thomason at Channel
Hey,
3,
I
a big
want
fan
some.
of the
There
show.
we go. Oh, there we go.
You said they were working on the pool heater. Make sure the main gas line is not shut off. It may have got shut off at the main. There you go. Did you check that?
I checked the house, didn't look at the main. I'll check the main.
Oh, dude, he got it. He got it, dude. Yes, Bay City's own Mexican OT. That Mexican OT. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny, dude. Joseph,
He's from Bay City?
he's from that's where he claims, Bay City. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Dude,
Um
I want to get some controversial stuff going. What else did you have for the banter?
well, I'm not there yet, dude. So Robstown, they're making the playoffs, right? They won a couple weeks ago, kind of threw our theory out the window, but they're in the playoffs. First time in 12 years that they're in. Gage Perry turning things around there in the town. And I didn't mention it last week. They went to state, or they're going to state for the marching band, first time in school history. They're putting together
That
a
was the
pretty.
jazz game, right?
I think so. I think I saw a post from the Alamo Dome today.
Yeah.
But they're putting together a solid program altogether out
Yeah.
there. They've got a couple state championships in girls powerlifting. The basketball teams are going to the playoffs. Their baseball teams are always good. Their football teams going to the playoffs. Man, Gage and Company, they're doing some good things out there in the town.
Baseball's making its way back to how it used to be,
Yeah.
right? Wasn't it
Yep.
last year they had the pretty decent run?
Mhm.
Lost Bernie, right? Bernie to go
I,
to the Sinton game.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah, I feel bad, right? Because I haven't reached out to Gage and congratulated him on that yet. Because we had talked a little bit here and there ever since I chose Big Rube over him week one, and I like Gage, dude. And it's pretty exciting, right? Like we've been kind of monitoring him closely on the side. Like we'd always talk about it a little bit, like, it's like right there. It's a tough job to turn around, and dude, they're doing a great job over there, and it's impressive. And I have the same feeling with them as I do TM, right? They're coaching those kids up to the best ability they got, and it's working right now, dude.
Mm-hmm. So congratulations to those guys. We got another one here that I'm going to pull up here for a
Not a fan
second.
of Furio.
I didn't see it. What do you guys think about refer? What is there to think about them? They're doing what they're supposed to do, right?
Actually, I'm joking, right? If you haven't watched the show, I'm a Refurio fan, but I talked to some of my Refurio buddies, right? One of them, Mark. Mark's one of the biggest critics. Like the thing I like about Mark, dude, with Refurio football is sometimes he puts the blinders on, but then there's times where Mark gets real serious about it, and in the sports knowledge, Mark comes out and dude, he's worried about Timpson.
Well, who wouldn't be?
Yeah, well, no, for sure, but I think we're talking about Mason. Let's keep an eye on Mason. Mason's undefeated. Holland's undefeated. They're both, I think, we were trying to look at that today on where they would meet up with those guys and where it all fell and whatnot. But, he was I think Mark was just really kind of like after that Shiner game, and it's Shiner, right? They're going to have a good program. But to me and Mark, we both felt like, unless we're fair to not come out and take them serious, dude, like, if you don't pick up the play when it comes time against Timpson, which I will give Herring and them credit, they normally do, you're going to get up against Terry Bussey and Timpson, and they're not going to forget about what you did to them last year to go to state. And that's one of those dangs, dude, is like, you can beat up on the little guys all you want, and Every now and then you're going to take someone serious and slip up, and they might play you close to, but eventually you're going to run into a team, dude. And if you're not getting the full potential out of yourself, you're just going to hurt yourself, and that's how you get caught slipping, right? And that's
Yeah.
one of the things I think Mark's a little bit worried about, and people that are closer to the program, I think, are a little worried about, right? Because it's almost like they're on a victory lap right now, and it's kind of like, why didn't win state last year? You made it, you didn't win it.
Yeah.
Kind of got embarrassed, honestly, outplayed, outcoached. So it's like you got there, but that's if you're a football, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
So it's like you would think this year would be a We Mean Business tour, right? And I think some people close to the program don't feel like they actually are taking it as serious as they should. So
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
I've heard I don't know because, like I said, I've only watched them a couple times, and they did what they're supposed to do. But people that are close to the program and talk to the program, they're going to have their eyes and ears that we don't get.
Yeah.
And it's always interesting to kind of tap in and hear some of the inner workings, right, of the cog within a town. So
Yeah.
just something to think about.
So that kind of jumped the gun there. So we'll skip the 2A playoffs when we get to it. Thanks, Brant. Appreciate it. But we're still on banter. So speaking of streaks getting broken, right? So Ed Couch broke I think it was a 10-year losing streak to Mercedes last week in their big rivalry game, and a little bit of shenanigans after the ball game last week.
Is that music from the video?
I think it's at the stadium.
Oh, wow. It's a pretty good one, dude. The music adds to it, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Wow, dude. Wow.
First thing what these kids got to realize when they're fighting is don't swing at another kid with a helmet on. You're going to break your damn hand.
Yeah.
Okay, you got to be smarter than that. The second
you
part
tell
of
adults that because adults do that in the NFL.
well, the second part of that is, there hasn't been any repercussions that have been tabbed out yet of what's going to happen.
Really?
That yeah. So I haven't heard anything yet on what's going to happen. Ever since those posts came out over the weekend, it's kind of been hush hush. But I
started it. Did they say?
Well, it looked. I don't know. It doesn't look. You can't tell from the video, and I don't know if anybody's going to say who started it. But there's some more footage.
Those towns are rather close, right?
Yeah, they're very close.
Right, very close.
The other video that came out of that is this locker room video of what the visiting team did to the Mercedes locker room.
Saw that.
So if you remember, this happened a couple of years ago. I think it was.
Dude, is that pee?
I don't think so. I think it's water. But this was the visiting locker room. In this case, was the girls' locker room. I think is what I saw in the comments. I don't know if that's true or not, but they trashed the locker room. I reached out to somebody from the Ed Couch athletic staff, and they did confirm that the locker room was trashed. That it wasn't a hoax or anything. That it was trashed, and it is their belief that the visiting team will pay for all the damages because that game was an Ed Couch. But as far as
Mercedes did that.
things like that, it was Mercedes that did that. Yeah, the Mercedes team.
Wow.
But like I said, remember it happened a couple years ago. I think it was Joachim and Goliad.
Yeah.
Where they ripped out urinals and stuff like that, ripped them off the walls and things. And I think they did charge those two kids that eventually fessed up to the.
That was the Joachim kids, correct?
I think so, if I remember right. Somebody chime in and correct us if we're wrong. But man, you guys got to think about some of these repercussions are going to come on down the line, right? There was a Matt Stepp shared something
life-altering repercussions, dude.
Matt Stepp shared something today that there is a team up north that is debating canceling the rest of the athletic season, playoffs included, for a team because there was some shoving going on after a game. So I mean, that's just shoving. Okay. I mean, that was a brawl at that game.
So, and this is, people can take this however they want, right? But I mean, and you chime in on this too because you were part of athletics. and you were in high school at Harlingen, and you were there in Odom. And when I was at Portland, when we rarely lost, my first thought was not to trash an opposing team's locker. Right? I played
Right.
at Calhoun a couple times. That's probably our biggest rival. Never thought about doing anything to vandalize their property or whatnot. Right? That wasn't even a thought process. But even if it was, right, for anyone in there, majority of the team would have cleaned it up right off the bat. Like, hey, we're not doing that. But where are the coaches on this?
Yeah.
Because when I can think back and think about it, I'm like, most of the coaching staff was getting their stuff together and like hurrying our asses up. Let's go, let's move, let's go, get your crap, let's go, pack it up, move, right? I mean, where were the coaches on this? Like, just disappeared for 30, 40 minutes while Mercedes broke stuff and then just sat on the bus and waited for them to come out? I mean, there should
Yeah.
be some accountability from adults as well, because that's your job. You're in charge. That's your players. Those are basically your kids underneath your direction for almost more than sometimes the parents get them,
Yeah.
right? So where's that accountability? I
Yeah.
understand the kids had a part of that, but I find it hard to believe that grown ass adults that are in charge and getting paid to do that can't clean some of that up a little bit, dude. That's a little pretty unbelievable.
Yeah. So that's and it definitely leaves a black eye on the district as well.
That's
Right.
bad.
So yeah,
Really.
it's bad. So more to come on that, I guess. So there's another comment in here. Dilly Wolves finally end their 5-year playoff drought and will face Santa Rosa. Dilly did take both into overtime and lost 10-7. Really interesting. Poth's kind of been up and down this season. I think they may have lost a game, but they're not the Poth of last year.
They lost a lot of kids.
Yeah, they did. They lost a quarterback, they lost a running back, and I think their projected starter got hurt before the season started. But do I get a helmet? What do you get a helmet for, Jerry? Jerry's back. Jerry, now that Taft's winning, Jerry's back in, right? Yeah, Jerry's all in now. Jerry's been
Hey, Jerry. What Jerry?
There it is. They lost to Blanco. Thank you, Jerry. And so just so we don't jump into last week's stuff, we got a little feel good thing. So here's your feel good sandwich, right? We started with the good stuff, put the bad stuff in the middle, and we're gonna end with some good stuff here. So after puncturing a lung in week 1, this is from Larissa Lisko over at Channel 6. Ryder Harrison scores last week.
It didn't show up. All love. For whatever reason, the actual clip, it just heard it.
It didn't show up?
No, I just heard it, but we got it. I think it was the one he's coming. It's like the sideline angle.
Yeah,
that was a good vid.
Yeah. So
pretty
yeah,
crazy, right?
Yeah. After week 1, puncturing a lung and not healing very well, if you remember, right? Remember we went down and saw him, and he ended up in the hospital longer than they thought he was going to be there, and little by little, just working out, getting back into game shape, and scores.
Honestly, it was a little kind of on edge after we left there. Remember, because we got updates from his mom and them, and it was like, they can't take it out. Like it seemed like he was getting infected. It was one of those things of like, damn, like could get serious kind of quick. But
yeah, it was after we left, right? We left that day, they weren't allowing visitors anymore because
I actually saw him and his brother last night. They were out giving out candy, dude. Giving out candy to kids.
Nice.
Or they were getting candy. I don't
know. Kimberly, Albert or Kimberly, we did cover a Cuero game this year. Highly contested game that we covered that week. Made some enemies, but we're now friends again, I think. And
which one?
Yeah, I think we're back on the good side again. And
you get kicked out.
I don't know if it maybe later on in the playoffs. Jerry, you've been holding on that cap for 3 years, Jerry. 3 years.
Dude, yeah, I know. I got to get that hat, Jerry.
Yeah. So let's jump into last week because we're going to be reading these comments. We're not going to jump into what we're talking about. So last week.
Hey, next year we're dressing up on Halloween for a show, dude. I'm a little disappointed in us for not doing that this year.
I know, that's why I kind of put it here in the background. We almost had a show on Halloween or the week before, but I don't think we were really talking.
What would you have wore this year?
I actually thought about. I was really thinking hard about being one of the Mars Attacks aliens. Getting the green leotard and getting the alien mask. That's what I was actually. That's kind of what kind of crossed my mind a little bit. But
Dude, I love it because you want to dress up, dude. I like it.
I
People don't
my,
know Jacob like I know Jacob, dude. He likes it.
yeah,
He loves it.
yesterday, my wife shared some pictures of everybody before Halloween. So Julian dressed up as Johnny Cage, which was essentially him wearing some slacks, a nice shirt, and some sunglasses, and put his hair in a ponytail.
Hell
And
yeah.
Raina, oh, I was the Travelocity gnome a couple years ago. I think I might have shared that on the show. And we were dwarfs this year at the gym this morning, so it was just a pointy hat and a little fake beard. And Becca was Nurse Barbie and
Oh,
had a blonde wig, and that was the joke of the day. They were like, "I didn't know you married a blonde. I didn't know you married a blonde." And yeah, so that everywhere we went last night in the neighborhood trick or treating, that was the comment, and everybody at work was telling Rebecca that she should go blonde. She can pull it off, but.
I want to see this.
She's listed. Can I share the picture, Rebecca? In the meantime, I'll wait on your answer and I'll share it later. Uh so last week, we didn't do very well. Well, I think we did okay.
I was one too. I
Uh
went,
Ben Bolt
crap.
Ben Bolt versus Santa Maria, 35-28 Santa Maria. I could not get to that game. I got held up with a work thing. I actually had everything worked out with Coach Harwell, and I just couldn't get to it. So I didn't get out there, and it looked like it was a good one, 35-28 Santa Maria. They are both in the playoffs. Looks like Ben Bolt's going to take the fourth seed. Santa Maria's taking the third. Orange Grove versus Ingleside, 44-32. We both had Ingleside in that one. That first game, we both had Ben Bolt. We both had Ingleside in this one. And, Ingleside looked like they were going to run away with this one, and Orange Grove's little by little chipping away at that lead, chipping away in that lead. I think if they had a fifth quarter, it may have been a different outcome, but they played pretty hard. They didn't give it up when they could have.
Yeah.
So kudos to Orange Grove for sticking through it. But yeah, Ingleside takes that one 44-32. Victoria East, Corpus Christi Vets. This was a shocker. And this was a bit of contention on this one, right? So a lot of conspiracy theories here on this one, and actually it started on our page, I think. So East takes this one 14-10. They score a touchdown, I think, with 29 seconds left in the ball game. If you look at the folks who were commenting from Vets, there was a few touchdowns that were called back from Vets. I think they had a kick return that was called back. They got a lot of flags. But the conspiracy theorists out there were saying they threw the game.
Dude,
They threw it because they did not want to see PSJA North in the second round, mind you. The second round, not the first round, but the second round. So you guys who are coming up with this conspiracy are saying that Vets lost this game so they can get a lower seed and they could potentially not win the first round game, potentially. And so they could dodge a team from the first round that they may potentially lose to anyways. It doesn't make sense. I mean, any coach, I mean, we talk to a lot of coaches on this show. They're competitive people. They do not like to lose. They are not going to teach their kids, hey, throw a game. This isn't the pros. They're not trying to get a draft pick. It's ludicrous to even think that.
Dude, so the rumor was, well, I guess not rumor, right? That was the rumor.
Yeah.
I had other people bring it up, dude, that the rumor around town in Corpus was that was legit, and it kind of shocked me too a little bit, just with where that came from. It kind of came out of left field, dude, and I think it's a little far fetched and whatnot. And people at the game told me, BW3, dude, it's just there's little things, right, that he's missing throws high. He's not. I think teams have figured out that if you blitz BW3, he right now he's young, dude. He's tall, but he's young, man. He's a sophomore. He still makes mistakes, and the offensive line was a little porous. And
they've had struggles all season.
They're getting pressure on him. And what's crazy is that the pressure works, man. He becomes inaccurate. You saw Miller do it. Miller kind of let him do his thing in the first half, and then they immediately started picking up the blitzes and bringing more heat. Offensive line got porous, and they forced mistakes, right? And he's young. You got to keep that in mind, dude. He's young. So I think people have kind of found that out with BW3. And if you give it time and you come at him, he's prone for mistakes, and that's probably what West did. And I think the throwing a game thing is pretty far fetched. I mean, hell, Vets beat them last year, dude. They're physical. Coach Wilson, coach down the valley forever. He knows those coaches, right? He had a great game plan, so I don't see that being the case. Um, Coach Bittner does not look like a guy that's willing to lose a game just for one game extra. I mean, it doesn't make sense. But
And that's not even a guarantee that one game extra.
no, it's just something to think about, dude. I will say this: I have seen a coach in CCISD, and this is, man, I don't know, 2014 ish area. I was at a game where it looked like he was throwing, and this was back when they were doing the weird scenarios. We had so many super teams, or whatever. We had like 10 teams or something crazy, and it ended up kind of biting him in the butt, man, because he cost seniors pretty much a game. Oh, what he did was he rested players. That's what he did. He rested players. It forced a tie, and then they, on the backside of it, they didn't win that tie or however it went. And it's like, to me, it was kind of like,
I
that
wouldn't
was,
say that's I wouldn't say that's throwing a
I
game,
would say
but I would
throwing.
say that's a poor coaching decision to rest your players. Like I said, this isn't professional
It,
sports.
it was, dude. And to me,
Yeah.
and I don't remember the exact scenario, but to me, what was bothersome was you cost some seniors a game that they don't get back in the game. You don't get to play very long. You know what I mean? That was, to me, that was the takeaway in that. I thought that was kind of lack of judgment, dude, on
Yep.
his part. But that's the only other time I've ever seen anything remotely like that, dude. Like, it's just kind of crazy to throw that out there. But
Yeah.
you know how people are, dude.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And of course it's vets, right? Everybody loves to hate vets. So anytime you can vets and Miller, people love to hate those two schools, right? Other fan bases love to hate those fan bases. So if it's anything they can take a chance to get a dig in, they can get a dig in. They're gonna take it, right? That's
Yep.
just my opinion.
We have
So the
not
next
hate,
oh,
we give them props.
oh, I know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The next game, which was another surprise, Victoria West versus Miller, 52-45 Miller. They were in a dogfight all
Yeah, they were.
game, man. And it looked like Miller was going to pull away, man, and West would just come right back and score some more points, man. So, man, I just time ran out. Miller had the lead, is what it sounds like. I wasn't there. I didn't watch it. Uh, Bob, you're in here. Give us a quick rundown of what happened. In the meantime, we'll kind of move on unless you got anything you want to say about that one.
Just that I think your typical thing. I think Miller had a little hangover from the Vets game, right? Understandable. And then everyone forgets, dude. Victoria schools are athletic. They play well. They're not bad coached. It's little things. It seems like the last couple of years they can't go quite over the hump of us right now. But dude, let's not forget, dude, those Miller schools, especially when they were one team back in the day, they would run through us, right?
Yeah.
They're one or two athletes away and just playing a good game from beating us on some nights, you know. And every now and then they're going to come in with a really good game plan and give you problems. And when you're not playing your best or you give them opportunities to stick with you, they're gonna. You saw GP do that early on this year with them.
Yeah.
That game was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be, and I was getting a little worried too. So I think that's what happened with Miller, a little bit of a hangover, and you're not playing a slouch team over there. They're solid, dude.
Yeah. So the game of the week we had Lavernia at Beeville. This was for the district championship. 49-0 Lavernia.
That was disappointing.
That was a shocker, man. And we both had Lavernia in that one. Oh, so the East West
No,
game.
whoa, no.
Did you
I had
Oh,
Beeville.
we had Beeville. I'm sorry. We both had Beeville in that game.
Yeah,
Yeah, that Lavernia team came to play, dude. And
yeah.
that Lavernia team's kind of been all over the place. They
You had
lose
the first hand. Look, you were there.
they lose to Sitten. Um, and then I have to pull their schedule up again real quick. I'm sorry. Let me pull this up because I don't want to just spout stuff up and me not
They lost to
be
Port
sure.
Lavaca Calhoun, did they not, or did they beat Port Lavaca?
They lost to Port Lavaca.
So they lost to Port Lavaca and Sinton, but other than that, they've beaten everyone. I think what it was for me was I looked at the schedule and it wasn't like they beat any world beaters. And to me, they lost to Port Lavaca. Beeville beat Port Lavaca decently. I think that's what kind of persuaded me over. But man, I'm thinking on Beeville's kryptonite or something because that when I picked against them earlier in the year, they won it. Now I pick them, and I mean it wasn't even close, dude. You
So
were
yeah,
there.
so
First
they
down look.
they they beat Burnett, they beat Gonzalez, they beat LaGrange, they beat Navarro, lost to Sitton 47-42, lost to Calhoun 21-14, which has that triple option offense and which is hard to defend especially if you don't see it. Beat
You'll never see it.
Floresville 63-28, beat Pleasanton 40-70, beat Beeville 49-0. So I stopped their head coach after the game because the report that we got in that Sitton game when they beat Sitton is that they were big, but they were slow.
Yeah.
These kids did not look slow. They did not look slow at all. They were moving fast. Their quarterback, um, he's probably the smallest kid on the team, and that's not saying a whole lot. He's probably 5'9", very quick. He's a good runner. He can throw the ball. There's a couple of plays that I caught that I didn't put on Facebook just because it takes so long, and they're all on Twitter. He was dropping dimes, dude. Um, their defense is fast. Yeah, they're all out of the shotgun. They got a good runner. They've got a good couple receivers, a tight end. They're fast, dude. They're going to be a hard out. Lavernia is good. When I talked to their coach, he said, our quarterback, our QB1 was out that Sitton game. I asked him point blank, how did y'all lose to Sitton? And he's like, well, our QB1 was out. Who like their quarterback actually, Keegan Hayek is his name. He got the helmet sticker for that game. He said, our quarterback was out, and he said our kids just tightened up. They didn't play well, is what he said. And they threw 3 interceptions in the first half, and I think Rob Thomas's son, I think, had all 3 of those interceptions in that game. I think. And he's like, we were coming back. It almost ended up like it did last year because Sitton was up big at the half, and then Lavernia kind of snuck up on them and ended up winning. They lost their quarterback that game. Sitton did, and couldn't do much. They were running most of the Wildcat that game. And this game, that's what he said. That's how we lost. We snowballed, and then we kind of tried to come back, and we just ran out of time. Calhoun, he said, man, it's that triple option, dude. It's sneaky. You've got to be disciplined to beat it. And we hear you say that all the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you're not disciplined, man, if you have really what it comes down to is if you have a really undisciplined outside linebacker and DN, you're in trouble. A cornerback too needs to really be pretty sound as well, dude. You don't have that, man. And honestly, if your defense in general isn't sound, you're going to struggle bad because you don't have enough time to prepare for that offense. You know what I mean? And you don't see it a lot. And if you're executing well, they don't give you many times to make a mistake, and you only get the ball so much. So that's kind of what kills you. So
I did.
That was a shocker to me, dude. I didn't see Lavernia blowing him out like that, dude.
I didn't either. But I will say I did meet a few fans at the game. I met some on the Lavernia sideline. I met some on the Beeville sideline, so that was actually pretty cool. We getting to talk some shop with those guys and find out what's going on. Yeah. But yeah, Albert, I'm guessing this is Albert that's coming. If you can shut down Beeville's run game, that's what they did. They shut that run game down very effectively. I would be surprised if Beeville had over 100 yards of offense that game. Their passing was kind of all over the place. But once they got down, that offense isn't built to catch up to a lead like that. So I mean, kudos to Lavernia. They took care of what they needed to, and they got Rockport this week. And Rockport. So if anybody want to get eyes on that Lavernia team, head down to Rockport on Friday. And then just some interesting tidbits. So Goliad, after coming off that win over Edna last week, squeaks by London 34-29. I didn't hear a whole lot of reports on that game, but Alexander Manning threw for 300 and something yards in that game, and I think 4 touchdowns. He was up for our Elite Tank Solutions Player of the Week this week. They put a very good game plan together, and that may have been another hangover game for Goliad coming off that big win over Edna last week, because that was Edna's district, right? And now you've got Goliad, who was another team that played that Tidehaven team pretty close compared to anybody else. And then the other one, and I don't know why I didn't go to this game. I didn't even realize it on the schedule. San Diego over Rio Hondo. That was for the district championship. I think it was like 34-6 or something like that. So the Vaqueros putting together a pretty good season, very quietly out there on the Ranchito, man. So they got the number 1 seed.
Smurf turf.
Yeah, that Smurf turf, man. So I don't know anything else you want to talk about from last week. You guys want us to chime in on anything?
I just
Somebody had
want,
commented on here. I saw something here. Hang on, let me see.
I just want Chance's buddy, the Edna guy, to apologize for ever saying that Edna would beat GP.
Oh, not this year. That would that probably
Apologize.
would that
Public
probably
apology, please.
wouldn't. Oh, hey, there he is. There's the bomb chiming in finally. Keep your eyes on Alexander Manning and Connor LeBlue from London. Two great athletes. Yeah, he put up a good game on Friday. We'll see what they do. I think they're out of the play. They're in the 5th spot right now, so they're missing the playoffs again this year. I
I really
think.
want to go to London and see a game, dude.
Yeah, I mean they're on the
Hey,
come up.
speaking of London, I heard looking at Snapshot, dude, they might have stayed down. No,
They are. That's what it's looking like. They're probably going
that's
to stay down.
that's
So
huge.
the next alignment in 24 or actually 26 is probably when they'll make that jump.
That's huge,
Because
dude.
man, people are just moving out there crazy. And somebody was saying, "Oh, they've got this, they've got that." But I think Lynn Hayward summed it up perfectly. Is like, yeah, the numbers are probably showing up in the elementary and the junior highs uh,
Yeah.
versus the high school. Yeah, and of course you're going to see that, right? People are moving out there with the younger families and things like that, and they'll get to that high school eventually.
Yep.
But this week, we got a couple of games this week. Not a whole lot. Week 11.
We were one and
Thursday.
two, by the way, last week. 1 and 2.
Didn't we pick the Vets games too?
I know. I
I
just
thought
had
we
us for
picked
those
those.
three. I
Oh,
literally just said Binbolt, Santa Maria, Beeville, Lavergne, Ingleside, OG on my page.
oh, okay. Oh, I think because I think we
So
thought the Victoria games are kind of we're going to be
that
sleepers.
puts you at 38 and 14, and I'm up to 37 and 15. Straight
All right. Oh, here it is,
loser.
dude. This last week of the season, dude. Last week of the season. All right. So Allison Kingsville Thursday night. Last season, 61-0 in favor of Alice. Alice is 7-1, 5-0, coming off a 56-14 win over Zapata last week. And Kingsville 3-6, 1-4, coming off a 14-7 loss to La Feria. So here's a little tidbit here. Kingsville has 4 losses by 1 score or less. Night and day from what they've done the last few years. You know, I think Ruben summed it up best. They just got to learn how to finish games, man. And I can feel that, Ruben. That's how we were in Odom last year, man. We just could not finish games. But man, he's got them on the right track, dude. He's got them on the right track. I think Alice is going to win this game,
Oh,
but
come on, dude. Come on. Get me out here, dude.
I think
I want
Alice
to
is going to
play
win this game,
Sergio.
and yeah, I think Kingsville will make it. They'll stay in it for a bit. They've got some athletes down there, man. I know I shared a video or a post last week. They've got 2 kids that were on a visit to Oklahoma last week, and not like Oklahoma Community College. They were in Norman last
Really?
week. So yeah, so I mean they've got some players down there. So that was pretty interesting. Um, so that's what I've got coming out of that one.
I got Alice as well, dude. I give Rube credit. I think he fits the role with TM and Robstown and what Gage and TM coaching staff has done. But dude, Alice is playing good ball, man. We've talked about it before. They have the athletes. They've had the athletes. You know, it was all about tying it together and making a run. And you're right, Rob. Bomb, Lucian Cruz, dude. He stepped into that role that Cutter was in last year, and I feel like it's working better because as a team, it's not just built around one kid; it's built as a team. And what Coach Castellano has done over there, and you might not have the eye popping numbers that Cutter put up, but where you're getting the numbers that count is the win column, right? And I just think Alice is having one of them years, dude. This is their district to win, dude. You beat Cal Island. You've taken care of business elsewhere. I don't really see them having a letdown game. You know, Coach Castellano and them coach hard, and I think Kingsville's going to give them some hell here and there, just based off athletes and the way they that Coach Rube has done over there. But I just think Alice is putting together a well packaged season, and this is their district championship, dude. And I see them going out there and taking care of business.
All right, next game. Ingleside versus Sit. So we will. Are you going to go to Kingsville tomorrow night?
Yes, I'm gonna pack my stuff to go.
Okay, so we will be at Kingsville tomorrow night. We got
You want to
passes
get there early and
for
eat?
moving. I don't get out till 5, so
I don't get off till 5:30.
Okay, so maybe I'll swing by your place of employment, and we can follow each other out there. I guess
Yeah.
we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
So
Here
Alice
till
is like, oh, so sorry. So that takes us to this week's game. Ingleside versus Sitton. Ingleside 7-0, 3-0 in district. Sitton 6-2, 6-2-1. That tie to Edna, the game that didn't even kick off because of weather. They notched that one up as a tie instead of a non-played. And 3-0 in the district. Ingleside coming off a 44-32 win over Orange Grove, and Sitton 49-3 over West Oso. Last season, this was 32-0 Sitton. Same situation. Ingleside coming in, riding in high. Sitton coming in, kind of a mixed bag, right? We don't know. We didn't know what was going to happen that game. We picked Ingleside that game, and they ended up getting shut out. I was at that game, and they just could not move the ball against that Sitton defense.
Yeah.
Now, is it a repeat of last year? Sitton lost a lot of key players on that front defensive line that kind of created havoc for Jacobson in the backfield that game and kind of shut the run game down. Man, Albert, I'm kind of leaning that way. But man, I don't know. Ingleside just looks too tough. Give me your takes, bud. Let me see if you can sway my mind.
No, you got to pick it on your own.
No. Let's go. Go. Give me your
Nah,
spiel.
this is the pursuant, dude. I'll let you make your pick publicly. I'm down one, dude.
Let's hear
You're
your
the
take.
swing vote, dude. Wherever you go, dude, I'm going opposite.
They're playing in Sitton, Jerry. They're playing in Sitton. But they played in Ingleside last year, and Sitton shut them down, man. So what? Let's hear your take, dude.
All right. So my biggest concern is, who is Sitton, right? Like, I just not sold, honestly, on the offense as a whole to keep up with Ingleside and what Mustangs have done. But at the same time, dude, Coach Troutman in the defense, he seems to show up in games that they need it, right? And man, dude, I don't know. I think JC is too much to handle, honestly. They did throw him a wrench last year and create havoc. But quite frankly, dude, the way Chrisman and McHugh have made the offense work this year, and defensively they've been pretty stout. It's just super hard for me to go against what I consider probably the best receiver in the area. And Jacobson, don't sleep on him, dude. He's done a lot of good things, man. He throws a really good ball. He runs the offense efficiently, and I'm gonna ride with my boys on this one, and I'm gonna take the Mustangs, dude. I'm gonna take them to get that revenge game back. I've been saying they're gonna beat Sitton all year, so I'm not gonna chicken out now, dude.
Yeah, so I'm kind of in the same boat, dude. It's the same offense, Jerry. I mean, they've got the same players they had last year. They've got JC, they got Nathan Ambrose, who's running out of the backfield. They've got Aiden Jacobson. You've got the triplets, right? You've got those guys. They had them last year. But I think Sitton just lost too many key players on defense this year.
Yeah.
They lost a lot of kids out. They lost a few kids out of the secondary as well, who shut JC down that game.
Yeah.
That's missing this year, and I think that's what's going to be the difference, man. They're not going to get that pressure up front, and they're not going to be able to cover the receivers. So I got Ingleside in this one too, but we'll see, man. Just like you said, man, big game Mike, right? He's going to scheme. He's going to do what he needs to do. He's a defensive guy at heart.
He does good, dude. I mean, they show up in the games they need to for the most part. I'll give them that, And then they just let you down sometimes. You're like, wow.
So our game of the week, and I think so. I will be at Ingleside and Sitton. I know Justin will not be there because he's going to be at the Bluff. GP versus Flower Bluff. Last season, 36-34. Flower Bluff in a nail biter. GP is 8-1 with a loss to Bernie, 4-0 in district, 58-0 win last week over Valley View. Flower Bluff 6-2 with the win over that Bernie team. And they lost to 6A Laredo Alexander and Cal Allen. which was
Dude.
the head scratcher, right? 4-0 in district, 57-0 win over Brownsville Porter last week. Andrew, you need to watch this show, man. We talked a good 10 minutes on that, dude. That's what you get for checking in so late. You're gonna have to watch this on the replay, or download it on your favorite podcast app tomorrow.
There you go.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher,
Listen
which
to
is
us in the
going away,
shower.
by the way. Or listen to us in the shower, man, while you're lathering up.
Oh, hey,
Uh,
settle
all
down
right,
over there, David.
all right. So, man, we got a lot of information on this GP team today. Did we not? A
Yeah,
lot, and
dude.
it answered a lot of questions that we just could not understand this year. Have at it, Justin. Take the floor.
Yeah, I mean, well, so I had uh, God, I forgot if I'm supposed to. Where, anyways, close to the program, reached out to I had a lot of concerns with GP. Still do. Honestly, you believe it or not, I'm a big critic. I'm always going to pick them, so might as well mark it down right now. I'm picking GP to beat the Bluff. Surprise, surprise. But I've been talking to Jacob, not just in the show, but off the show. Man, the offense is pissing me off. The offense has pissed me off all year long. I'm not a fan with the way we've used some things. I wasn't really understanding some of the, I guess, packages we ran out, or really just play calling in general. And I just felt like it wasn't going good in the direction that I wanted to see. Especially after the Bernie game, we got, I mean, just throttled, which I think they're number one in state now for what, 481. Anyways, it just wasn't what it was. Just wasn't adding up to me, dude. And my big thing was is I felt like Reed Dooms just was off this year. He wasn't melding with the receivers very good. They weren't finding Coco deep like they did last year. If you watched last week, they talk about it. They finally had a Coco bomb, and they're like, man, hey, we hadn't much of those all year long. Well, someone close to the program finally reached out. They've been keeping it under wraps. Apparently, week one, Reed, he took an injury to his non-throwing shoulder, but it's his lead throwing arm, right? And they thought initially it was a rotator cuff tear. Well, come to find out, they were kind of telling me, man up. You got to man up and play through injury and fight it off. And they put him in. I remember seeing him in a brace. One of those school like McDavid style. Can't really move your arm up very much and whatnot. And they sent photos to me of him, at the Carroll game. And I remember watching the Carroll game and thinking, wow, he is just super off on his throws. It looked horrible. And come to find out, ended up breaking his shoulder. So he broke his shoulder in week one against Cal Allen. That was the big issue, right? And they kept it under wraps when they found out. Well, he played through it, which according to wow, dude, that's not going in the right direction over there on the side.
Nope.
Jeez. Okay. I don't know how you mute that. Anyways, move on past that. But anyways, the kid played with a broken shoulder. Pretty significant injury, right? And if you're a quarterback or you've been around it, dude, you got to be able to use that lead arm, right, to get to where you want to go. And it's going to throw you off balance. And that's why I think that's why a lot of it, he looked uncomfortable in the pocket a lot for the most part of the year. And why a lot of his throws, you'd watch them, they just weren't on point how he normally was. And he wasn't getting to be able to throw the deep ball. And they changed the offense around a lot too. They started doing a lot more inside stuff, slants, comebacks. And I talked to Jacob. I was like, man, the offense just does not look like it was last year. So finding that out kind of alleviated some of my concern with the program. The fact he played through it, that um, coaches in the college level and whatnot talk to him and whatnot, and they think that's kind of crazy, to play through an injury like that. But I think, the last two games they said he's better. He's looked better. For me, it's still hard to judge because, like I've been saying, I reached out earlier on a post. I say I think we need to go north. I think us and the Bluff next realignment need to push to go north. We need to get into San Antonio district, someone that's going to push us more because this, no offense, but the district that we're in right now with the Valley, it's not doing it, And like you can beat up on these teams all you want and have your 42-0 victory and all that hoopla. But at the end of the day, dude, like you get to round 2 and 3, like you start playing teams that actually have some firepower, and it's hard to turn it on, dude. It's hard. And that's a whole nother topic to get into. But for me, I take GP to win this one. I think it's going to be a close
Close.
battle. I think it's going to be a close battle, but I'm going to take probably GP in this one, and I won't give you a score prediction on it because I don't want to put my name on nothing like that. But I'll take the Wildcats for sure.
Yeah. So if you guys noticed on the chat bar here, we got a guy that just chiming in on the YouTube channel. He's been blocked, but it won't come off the thread here. It's come off the thread that I can see on the chat overlay. And
Yeah,
if I
that.
close it, yeah, so you can tell what direction he's going. I think they came off finally. Oh, it updated. They're off now. But thank you, Bomb. Appreciate it. I think Bomb took care of it. Thank you, man. Thanks for hooking it up because I it would not come off the chat over. That's a dude. After 3 years of doing it this way, that's the first time we've had somebody come in and do something like that. So yeah. So we
can't help ignorance, dude. Is
yeah.
that
So
somebody?
it was yeah. I can't see it anymore. I think it's gone now.
I can whatever.
Yeah, I can't see it anymore, man. Hey, the Big Lavelle chimed in. The champ is here. I didn't see that. Okay, anyways, sorry. I got all sidetracked. I'm all flustered now. Wow.
Yeah.
And so what else is going on with Flower Bluff? If you guys have been keeping up with the news, Chris Steinbrook, Flower Bluff's athletic director, or actually superintendent, announced her retirement, which will be effective at the end of the year of 2023. So they promoted Steinbrook to be the interim superintendent. So he's kind of splitting duties there as the head coach and filling in as the super role, which is a big job in a big district like that, right? It's not. I don't know if he's ever done that before to fill in when the soup was out of town or anything like that. I figure with a district that size, they would have had an assistant soup. So they've promoted Coach Elwood as the interim head coach right now, and I guess he's kind of still sharing duties as the head coach there. So keep an eye on that development there. I think that's probably the worst kept secret in the area right now, but we'll keep it that way.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff, a lot of moving parts going on in Flower Bluff. But the Crews kind of had some pedestrian days the last few weeks. Haven't been putting up as well. I'm not gonna say haven't been putting up as many points, but the stat lines haven't been as eye popping as they have been lately. I'm going to I want to keep my lead, so I'm going to pick GP in this one too. So that way, if I lose, we get the same losses and whatnot, and I still end up victorious at the end of week 11. Dude, this is
we need to make a playoff pick 'em then, pal, to even it up.
This is the last week of the season, dude. Like
crazy, right?
It went by so fast. You're gonna have to wait till the live is over, Andrew. Or like I said, you can play it on your favorite podcast app. Probably an hour after this comes down.
Rock on.
So before we jump into, so that's kind of our last week's stuff, right? So you'll be at that game as a fan, because we do not have access to Flower Bluff. They're very stringent on their.
I'll be there as a fan, but you know what? You know what I can do though that I don't think they've accounted for. I can sneak in with the. I can sneak me and Ace in with the blow up
with the tunnel crew ads. Well, now they're going to be watching for you.
I'll blend in. I'll wear GP stuff.
Oh, there you go. So Lavelle, hope we go to 5AD2 so Flower Bluff and GP can stop running. The Greyhounds win big. Hey, well, if you're listening to the alignment, Flower Bluff may be moving up
really?
to 5AD1. Yeah, so that's what they're there you go, Jimmy's. There you go. There's your inflatable way in, pal.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's the talk right now is that they may be moving up to 5AD1.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that is correct.
Is that actual numbers? Is that numbers, or is that just them wanting to go back up?
That's numbers.
Really?
Numbers, wow. Yeah, they're projected.
Growth, dude.
They're projected for them to go up to 5AD1, and DeSoto will be moving down to 5AD1 next year, is what the talk is. And somebody sent it earlier. They beat Duncanville, dude, on a Saturday on a game they actually thought about just canceling altogether Friday night because of the weather delay, and it wasn't gonna. I guess they thought Duncanville was just going to run away with it because they were going to say it wasn't going to have any impact in the playoff race. Well, I guess it does.
Dude, that was huge.
So that was a huge win for DeSoto. Huge win.
Yep.
So before we go, let's look at some playoff. Oh, actually, let's talk about some playoffs here for a little bit, right? So we'll start at the bottom and go up. Just talk about some matchups. If the playoffs were to start today, there could be some changes this weekend after some losses and whatnot, or some wins. There could be some changes, but more or less, this is what the playoffs should shake up like. But we'll start with our 5A D1 district, right? Um, so we've got Victoria West and Victoria East in the Battle of the Boot this week, right? So here's how it's Miller's got the number 1 seed, right? So right now, Victoria East is the number 2 seed, Vets is the 3 seed, and West is the 4 seed.
Yeah.
West is 4-2, East is 5-1, Vets is 4-2. We can say Vets is going to be 5-2 this week because they've got King. Sorry, King. But we can. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say Vets is gonna finish the season 5-2. If West beats East, they all have a 5-2 record in district. West will be 5-2. East will be 5-2. Vets will be 5-2. West lost to Vets. East beat Vets. So it's going to come down to whatever the points are in the minutes, or where their tiebreaker is in the minutes, I think, for that second seed. Because I don't think it's as plain and dry as, well, if West
The
beats
West
East.
needs to be East.
Yeah, I would think West would have to be East by so many points, I think, is what it's going to come down to first. And if they don't meet that, then it's going to come down to points scored.
Well, that's
I
a
don't know.
point, dude. I think it's a point system for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think like the first one is you've got to beat this opponent by X amount of points to get that seed, right? So, I mean, there could be a jumble in how this shakes up. And we'll talk about that when we get down to 5A D1 playoff breakout, right? So 2A D2, I would dual say, who actually Lane Ranley was named the 2A quarterback of the week by Panini this week. And he's actually a sophomore. I think he's the first sophomore in Agua Dulce history to pass for 1,000 yards in a season. So congratulations to Lane. He's been following the show for a while. I think he's a sophomore this year.
Was he
And
the kid that was at the TD camp a couple years
he is
back?
not. That's who I thought it was. That's Chase Benjamin.
Okay.
He's their other quarterback, but this guy, he's the starter. He's a sophomore. He's been going to camps all over, going through his Twitter feed and just kind of refreshing myself with him. But so congratulations to him. So he'll be leading them against Sabinal in we'll call it week 12. Then you've got Pettis playing Bracketville, Rock Springs versus Woodsboro, Fall City versus Iola, and Bruni versus Dehanis. 2A D1. Freer versus Shiner, which should actually be a pretty good game with the way Freer's been playing, the way Shiner's been playing this week or this season.
Yeah.
Shiner kind of on a downswing. Freer winning a few more ball games than they had in the past, so that should be a pretty good matchup there.
Yes.
Ganado at Santa Maria, Refugio versus Ben Bolt, and La Villa at Three Rivers. That could be a very good one there as well. So 3A D2 as the way it sits right now, and I don't think there's any seeding games that come into play this week. Taft versus Comfort, Dilley versus Santa Rosa, Poth versus Hebronville, and Odom will take the winner of Nixon, Smiley, and Natalia, which plays tomorrow, Friday night. And I think they'll figure that out, Friday night arrangements where the games will be played and whatnot.
There you
go. And just to keep an eye on it, Tidehaven will play Buffalo. Let's see if they give any punts up that game. 3A D1, Lyford versus Industrial. That'll be a rematch of the last 2 years, I think. Edna versus Rio Hondo, Goliad versus Falfarius. I'm hearing that one should be held in Odom, possibly Thursday night. And then we got another rematch, San Diego versus London. So I was right. London is in the playoffs. So San Diego versus London, and it would be a rematch of what they had last year.
Dude, they've been rematching for a while now, it seems like.
Yeah. Well, they were district rivals for a little bit, and then
Exactly.
they moved districts after the realignment. So, yeah. 4A D2, Raymondville versus Orange Grove. As this is having Sitton as the 2 seed, Sitton versus Grula. Ingleside is the 1 seed versus Bishop, and Port Isabel versus Robstown.
Okay.
4A D1. This is a good one right here, man. Calallen versus Port Lavaca Calhoun.
Oh, wow. That is a good one. That's a good one.
That's a very good first round game there.
Yes, it is.
Beeville versus TM.
Okay.
Lavernia versus Zapata, and Alice versus Rockport Fulton. Now, if Rockport Fulton were to pull off a win over Livonia, that's going to shake up that whole district.
Yeah.
The whole district. But I don't see that happening this week. But
No.
you never know. We didn't think Rockport Fulton was going to beat Miller that year.
True. Yeah.
Sorry, Lavelle. 5A D2. You got Sharyland Pioneer versus Ed Couch. Flower Bluff as the 2 seed. Versus Mission Vets. Gregory Portland as the 1 seed versus PSGA Memorial. And Roma versus Mercedes. And again, who knows if there's going to be any repercussions from what happened last week, if there's any player suspensions or whatnot, or what's going to happen. So keep your eye on that one as well. So 5A D1, this is where things kind of get shaky with our teams here, right? So as it sits right now, and this is assuming that Victoria East wins this game, that wins the boot. San Antonio Southside, who is, I think, undefeated. They have 1 loss. I think it's 1 loss, and they lost to Somerset, but they're district champions. Versus Victoria West. Miller versus Medina Valley. Victoria East versus Laredo Nixon. And San Antonio Southwest, who is 9-1 versus Corpus Christi Vets. Now, this is where things could kind of get shaky depending where it goes, right? So you could see Victoria West as the 2 seed. You could see Victoria East as the 2 seed or the 3 seed, and Vets as potentially the 4th seed. So it's a soup sandwich,
Yes.
right? Until we see what happens Friday night between that game. That should be a pretty good game, those 2 Victoria schools, man.
That's a lot of implications on it, dude.
Dude, big time. Big time.
Yeah, I don't know what either, to be honest with you.
So we don't have any 6A schools here, but I thought I'd throw some in there anyways, just for the Valley gente. PSGA versus Los Fresnos. San Benito versus Edinburgh North. That's 6A D1. And then 6A D2, Edinburgh versus Harlingen. We're like back in the 1980s here. That was a perennial playoff matchup back then. Edinburgh High and Harlingen back in the day.
Really?
Yeah. Westlaco, who's a district champion, versus Mission High. Then you've got Laredo Alexander against surprise San Antonio Jay, who is a surprising 8-1, 6-1 on the season. The last time Jay has made the playoffs was 2017. Before that, 2006 and 2005. So they've made the playoffs 3 times in the last 19 years.
Damn.
That's a huge turnaround by that J team. That's, if you guys remember, that San Antonio J team was kind of made infamous when those 2 defensive backs kind of pummeled that referee, made national news, and I think they filed charges against those kids and whatnot. So that was, and I think that's the Marbach area neighborhood of San Antonio, if I'm not mistaken. That
out there real quick.
That populates that J
Damn, dude.
high school. The next matchup we've got is San Antonio Harlan versus Eagle Pass. I've heard that Harlan team is looking very good. They're 9-0, 7-0 on the season. They should get by Eagle Pass pretty easy that week. That only loss that J team has is to that San Antonio Harlan team. That J is coming in the runner-up as that district. Some interesting notes that the state will see. Westlake is going D1 this year in 6A. Lake Travis is also going D1. So 6A D2, you see Cibolo Steel, Dripping Springs, and Austin Vandergrift coming out of Region 4. Austin Vandergrift having Deuce Adams there as their quarterback, and I think his brother is also a playmaker there at wide receiver.
Yeah,
I think so. That boasted that Vandergrift team, who did go to state last year. Yeah. And they had that whole sword thing and everything, right? They're named after that Marine captain, wasn't he? Right. Right. So that's an interesting story. So look up that Austin Vandergrift team and look on the naming of the high school. And that's a pretty interesting story.
I have no clue that's where it came from.
Yeah. So that was a pretty, and then they carry a sword. What's that?
They call the Austin Westlake kids call that the Walmart Westlake.
Oh, it's Westlake. If you bought Westlake on Temu or something, is that what it is? Oh, that's funny. Bad. Any round who Cuero will meet in round 1. Well, Cuero's Region 3. I can pull that up real quick. It shouldn't take very long. Just talk real quick, Spud. We're about ready to wrap this up. I'm just going to pull this up for a second.
I think the big thing for Cuero moving forward is going to be looking at Silsby down the road, right? Of course, you don't want to look too far ahead, but Silsby, and then what? Region 4 is going to be the Wimberley. You're probably going to see Wimberley to go to state. That's going to be
I
like the
think
likely team
think
out of
so.
Region 4, right?
I think so.
Or 4A, was that 4A D2? Am I correct?
Wimberley is D2. That's correct.
Yeah, so Cuero's D2 as well. Yeah, that'd be the big one. I think Cuero's gonna have a pretty good run. Honestly, Notaro's looked really good this year. Uh, we saw him a little bit in person. Honestly, I think it was their best game when they played Cal before they had the rain out. But other than that, dude, I think Cuero fans should have another good 4 or 5 weeks, maybe 6 if they're lucky. And then who knows?
Well, they're going to run into Silsby, like you said. They're going to run into Silsby and Draylon Miller, who actually decommitted from Texas A&M
Yes, he
recently,
did.
right?
Heard he
And
was
they
back
lost.
this weekend, though.
What was that?
Heard he was back there this weekend, though.
Oh, was he?
Must have
There,
been
man.
must have
The
been checking
rumors,
Brian Kelly's receipts, dude, for that fake accent.
the rumors coming out of East Texas that he may flip that whole class. That East Texas crew that's going to A&M and take them all to LSU.
That wouldn't surprise me, dude.
That's they lost that defense. That was he an offensive lineman that committed to LSU.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we keep your eye on that one, man. That's going to be an interesting one. Yeah, so recruiting season is about to pick up as well. Okay, 4A, here we go. 4A D2 Region 3. Wow, Silsby versus Sealy first round. Interesting.
Who just beat Sweeney?
Hampshire Fanette versus Sweeney. Cuero looks like they're going to play Robinson. Is if it shakes out the way it's supposed to, that's who they'll play. Robinson in the first round, who's the fourth place finish out of District 11. Says we will get shut down by our Gobbler squad again. No worries. Yeah, I don't know if you want to say you shut them down. That was a pretty tight game last year. It came down to man, Draylon Miller not getting in the end zone, but I wouldn't say you shut him down. It was a good game. Very good game.
It was.
Justin, you got anything else? You guys got anything else you want to address
No.
before we go? We're about an hour and 12 into this one so far.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay, guys. Well, that looks like that's it. If you guys are going to be out in Kingsville Wednesday night, maybe you'll see us out there. We'll be out there Thursday night. Sorry, Thursday night. And like we said, Justin will be out in Flower Bluff on Friday, and I will be in Seatone to check out the district both championship games. Yes, it was. Probably 4A team. What does he say? I gotta pull this up real quick. Nope, that's not it. Chat.
We're probably only 4A D2 team in the entire RGV is what he's saying.
Oh yeah, probably. You're talking about realignment or right now? Probably about the realignment.
I don't know.
Yeah. There you goes, realignment. Okay, guys. Well, that's all we got. Happy belated Halloween. Happy early Thanksgiving. And next week, are you going to be on nights? What is your schedule like? Okay, so we will probably put another pre-recorded show out. We'll figure something out after the weekend. And it'll be strictly playoffs, man. We'll look at the matchups for this week for our teams, and then we'll go ahead and start looking down the line of the potential second round matchups and who's going to get there, whether it's going to be our guys or it's going to be the other guys. Right, but we'll see. But you've got us for another I think this is the year we wrap the season up, right? We always go dark and never close the season out. I think this year we close the season out. We'll
see.
We'll see what happens. But guys, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all next week.